Hello, hi everyone, welcome back to a new video. In this video, we will be discussing the TCS tag questions. Yes, TCS tag has conducted its exam today, and these were the two coding questions that were asked in today's exam. So, overall, the paper coding questions were very easy. The first question was something which we have already discussed in our last video. So we have understood this type of questions many times in our videos. The same type of question got repeated over here. So let's discuss the first question. Okay, what is the first question? It's saying, let's see. So problem statement is, the title of the question is a cryptic number. So we will be given a number as input. So basically we will be given a range. In that range we will having so many types of numbers, that from L to R we will be given a range. So in that number we need to find what are the cryptic numbers. If we don't find any cryptic numbers, we need to return a -1. Right. So what is a cryptic number, that we need to understand. A cryptic number is something, a number where the number should be divisible by 7, condition number 1, and it should not be divisible by 5. Okay, condition number 2, it should also be satisfied. Condition number 3 is it is not a palindrome number. What is palindrome number? The same, if it is 111, then the reverse is also 111. So we need to find such number. It does not have any continuous repetitive digits. So this is one question. So print all the cryptic numbers in the given range. If no such number exists, print a -1. So we are given four four conditions. Okay, and we will be given an L to R range. So in that range we need to find the cryptic numbers. So based on the tag questions, you can also expect the NQT question. The same level will be there in the NQT also. So L to R range will be, suppose this is my 10 and R, let's say 10. 1 to 10 is my given range. So from 1 to 10 there are 2, 3, 4, so on up to 10, right? So you need to identify what are the cryptic numbers. So if in the given range we did not get any cryptic number, we need to return a -1. So what were the conditions? The first condition was it should be divisible by 7. Second condition, it should be not divisible by 5. So what I am writing? So it should be not divisible by 5. So if I do I modulo 5, it should be not equal to 0. And the third condition would be, what was the third condition? Third condition was, where is it? It is not a palindrome. So it should be not a palindrome. It should be not a palindrome. And fourth one is no repetition is allowed. No repetition is allowed. These are the few conditions. So let's write the logic and see what actually the user is expecting us to write. So we need to know how to actually reverse a number, right? So let's say 145 as my input. So you need to make something like 541. At last, this is the original, this is the reverse. You will just compare. If original is equal to reverse, then it is a palindrome. Else it is not a palindrome. So the main thing is, how do you actually compare? How do you actually compare is very simple. How do you reverse a number? So it is 145, right? Now this is my original number. Okay, create something like reverse as 0. Okay, so how can you get the last number? Just do a modulo 10. So you will get 5 now. 5 is there. Now you can simply do the thing is rev equal to rev into 10 plus the remainder. You can do. So now rev was initially 0. So 0 into 10 gives you 0. 0 plus 5 is 5. Now your reverse is updated by 5. And you can do original by 10. Once this is if you do original by 10, 5 gets gone. Now your left original is 14 now, and your rev is 5. Right. Now again you will extract 4 by doing modulo 10. You got 4. Now you will again do rev equal to rev into 10. What is rev into 10? 5 into 10. 5 into 10 gives you 40, and the remainder is 4. So rev become 54. And you will do original by 10. If you do original by 10, 4 also gets gone. Now original is equal to 1 and reverse is equal to 54. Now again you will extract, you will do modulo 10. If you do modulo 10, you will get 1. If you get 1, then again you will multiply. Rev equal to rev into 10. Rev into 10 will give you 54 into 10 gives you 540. 540 plus remainder. What is remainder? Plus 1. 540 plus 1, 541. And you will divide the original by 10. If you divide 1 by 10, you will get 0. When you get original as less than or equal to 0, you will break. Now, the reverse is done 145. That is 541. And the original was 145. So, are these equal? No. Like this, you can simply check if a given number is palindrome or not. So, let's write the code for this and understand what we were actually doing. So, we want the number of test cases to be implemented first, and we'll calculate for number of test cases. We're getting two things as input, that is the lower limit and the upper limit. So let's take the input for them and we'll loop over the lower limit until the upper limit. So it would be I less than or equal to r I plus plus. Now we need to just check it should be divisible by 7 and it should be not I modulo 5 should not be equal to 0, and we need to check is palindrome of I, it should be false, and is not repetitive, that is the number should not repeat. So if it is true, then here we will print I with a space, and we can also mark found as true, because at last if we did not get any cryptic number, we need to return a false, right? -1, right? Here you can do bool found equal to true, sorry, false. And if we get any cryptic number, here we can do. At last, here we can just print a -1 endl. When we need to do that? If not found. If found is still false, then we can return a -1. So this is a simple code. For this we need to just implement two functions, that is bool is palindrome of int let's write int n, let's say int dummy equal to n and reverse is equal to 0. How do we calculate reverse? It is very simple. While your dummy is greater than 0, you can do int remainder would be the dummy modulo 10, and how do you do? I already said you reverse equal to, the formula is reverse into 10, and you will add the remainder. At last you will do dummy by equal to 10. At last you will just compare, return your n is equal to reverse. Is the n and the reverse part both are equal, then it is a palindrome, or else it is not. And you need to also bool is not repetitive function. So here you will do int n. We can also write another function, int digits equal to get a number of digits. Let's implement this function also, and you can take a set here, set of int st. You will iterate over your n, and you will always insert st dot insert of n modulo 10. You can insert this and n by equal to 10. At last you can just compare, return the st size. St dot size is equal to the digits. If the size of the stack and the number of digits are equal, then no number is getting repeated. Now you just need to implement this function, int get number of digits of int n. Here int answer would be 0, and while the same function is repeating over here, while n equal to n greater than 0, you can do a answer plus plus and n by equal to 10 and return answer. This is a simple code that we write to find out for a cryptic number. Let's give our input. Let's say for one test case, the range is 10 to 50. Let's see what are the cryptic numbers. Are we getting correct or not? Submission is yes. We are getting 14, 21, 28, 42 and 49. You can just check. 14 is divisible by 7, not divisible by 5, and it is not a palindrome and no number is getting repeated. 21 is also same, 28 is also same, 42 is also same, 49. You can say that it is kinda repeat of a 7 table, but one thing is very sure that you can easily solve this question by taking the 7 divisibility and checking if any 7 divisible, if there is 77, there your test case will be failed, because if you take up to 100 you will not encounter 77, because 77 is a palindrome as well as digits are getting repeated, because you can't directly keep the 7 divisibility logic, because 77 is a repetitive and also the palindrome. So this is the simple code that we need to solve, and let's move forward to the next question now. So let's move forward to the next question. The second question is even simpler than the first question. So what actually we are getting in the second question is, let me not talk over the whole problem statement and say you. So we will be given a 2D grid, okay, 2D grid or matrix or something. So it will represent each row will represent a student. So let's say this is me, this is you, this is someone else. So in this matrix each row represents a student, and each column, let's say R1, R2, R3, R4 are students, and C1, C2, C3, C4 is your subject. So each student will score some marks in his own subject. So we need to check if a student is said to be pass only if his marks are, the average of marks are greater than 50. So the first student record is this, right? If we say 20, 40, 30 and 80, these are the marks of first student. So what is the average of him? That is 20, 40, 30 and 80. The sum would be something 0, 11, 15, 17. So 170 divided by 4. Why 4? Average is sum of the numbers by 4. So this will give around 4 times 16, and it is less than 50, right? If we encounter 4, then it is automatically less than 50. So R1 is, the average of R1 is less than 50. So R1 is failed. R2. Similarly, we will check for everything. So here we need to just compute the average. If the average of the student is greater than 50, we will just return or say he's passed, or we will say he's failed. So let's simply write the logic for this. So it would be very simple code. Here we can just remove this part, the functions part, and the main function. In the main function, the only thing which we'll get as input is a 2D matrix. So do we actually need to store things? No, we actually don't need to take the input in a 2D matrix. You can take in a single variable also. Let's do that. So firstly we'll get n and m. These are the sizes, that is n rows and m columns. So we'll traverse on them. For int I equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus, n rows and m columns, and for int j equal to 0, j less than m and j plus plus. Let's say here we will define as sum. So int sum equal to 0, because for every student he will start with 0. His marks are there in the j, that is j represents the column, right? So here we can definitely do int marks. Here we will get the input c in marks, and we can definitely do something like sum plus is equal to marks. Here the first student marks are computed. Now here we will check if my average, how do we calculate average? That is sum by what is, but what we will divide? The number of subjects. The number of subjects is m, is strictly greater than 50, then we will print, here we can print I has I student has passed, and print a end line. Else you can copy the same statement, copy the same statement has failed over here. Now at last, this is a simple code. Now if you run, and let's say my matrix is something 3 by 3 matrix, three students, three subjects. Let's say he has got 90, first student 90, 50 and 60, and second student marks are 40, 20 and 30. He is 40, 60, 80. Let's see who has passed and who has failed. Oh, we have not defined the this. Here we can do the test case as 1. For test case, 0 student has passed, that is 0th student has passed, first student has failed, second student has passed. Obviously, right? Here the first, if you calculate, this is 140, 140 plus 60 is 200, 200 by 3 is definitely greater than 50. Here if you calculate, this is 90, 90 by 3 is 30 only, so he has failed. Here you see 180, 180 by 3 is 60, which is greater than 50. So these were the 2 questions that were asked in TCS tag questions. So you can definitely follow our video series, where you can definitely see what was the previous lecture which I have taken. I have demonstrated the first question. It was the exactly same question we have already solved in our TCS NQT series. So please keep learning, and there are very few days for your NQT. So I wish you the best, and let's meet in the next video. Thank you.